Today I'm going to show you how to remove the crank. It's a STRONGLIGHT crank, and this will become apparent why this is important in a minute. STRONGLIGHT crank from an old crusty Raleigh road bike. So first, I took the pedal off with a pedal wrench. Now I'm going to get rid of this bolt. To be fair, I will admit that I loosened the bolt earlier. So, you know, just use my Craftsman socket, 15mm, and my ratchet, and boy oh boy, look at it, comes right out. So now that's nothing, anyone can loosen a bolt, but the important part is this crank puller that I'm about to use right here. This is not a park tool, this is something I had to buy especially on eBay for the STRONGLIGHT crank, because the park tool puller, this thing right here, does not fit the STRONGLIGHT crank. So I got this puller on eBay. It was about 10 bucks, maybe 20, whatever. And I've only used it a few times. You thread it right into the crank, and then make sure it's threaded all the way in using this big adjustable wrench. So you want those threads to bottom out on the crank. Right there. Now this is a 9/16 wrench. Fits on the crank puller. Should fit. Tighten it in, and what happens is this thing pushes on the spindle and it pulls the crank right off the spindle, and this should work pretty easily. 1, 2, 3, and well, that's the way it goes, I guess, because what happened is apparently the aluminum in this crank was so old and so weak and so brittle that it just stripped the threads right out. Now I'll give it another try. Maybe I'll get lucky in there. Get some of that dirt and debris out of there with my screwdriver. And, oh, that's what I did wrong. See, it's got nothing to do with the puller or the threads. I do this all the time. I forgot to take the washer out. You know, you really shouldn't even watch this how to, because clearly I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Okay. Part 2, this is where I try and rethread the puller into the threads that I just stripped out. Okay, there you go. Always take the washer out. Luckily the guy who wants these cranks didn't notice that I just fucked up like that. Okay, crank puller. Fully seated in the crank arm. Adjustable wrench does not want to come off. Ah! The hell? Okay, I'll just leave the adjustable wrench in place. Get my little 9/16 going. Crank it down. You didn't hear all that stuff I just said about stripping out the threads, did you?
I did. Threads all stripped? Not coming out, right?
Looks like the thing's totally fucked.
Alright, fuck it. Hey, can I have this?
Yeah, I guess. So, there you go. The threads are all fucked, possibly because of me, possibly because of they're old and shitty. Now we can't get the crank arm off, and now the guy who wanted the crank doesn't want it because it's all stripped. And it's really a lousy circumstance because he was going to pay me a lot of money for it too. He was going to pay me a whole bunch of money. He's an old-fashioned guy. He was born a long, long time ago. And he knows the value of $1. But now, since I can't even get the crank off, because it's all stripped, I might not even see any of those dollars. Yeah, 3 times is a loser. This crank is fucked. Well, that's the way it goes sometimes. Thanks for watching.